Imagine this scene. Amidst the deafening roar of artillery fire in 1916, a mere few meters from the front lines, women moved with unwavering resolve through a landscape of mud and blood. They bore no rifles, only bandages, a beacon of hope, and a courage that rivaled the fiercest soldier. As morning mist swirled across the Somme front line, a biting wind whispered against the canvas of the makeshift field tents. Sarah Williams, a 24-year-old nurse hailing from London, emerged from the Frontline medical station. She had been stationed there for just 6 weeks. 6 weeks that felt like an eternity compressed into a handful of days. Tucked away in her pocket was an unsent letter, its words echoing a familiar refrain. "I'm fine, so don't worry," she wrote to her mother every week. Though in a place where the very ground trembled beneath their feet, such assurances rang hollow. The piercing alarm signaling incoming wounded shattered the fragile calm. Sarah reacted instantly. A team of stretcher-bearers hurried in, carrying a young soldier whose left arm was mangled and bleeding profusely. She didn't ask for his name. Instead, she placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder and whispered, "You're still here. Look at me." Simple words, yet amidst the thunder of war, they serve as an anchor to reality. Inside the cramped tent, the air hung heavy with the mingled sense of antiseptic, gunpowder, and damp earth. Sarah and Dr. Myers worked with focused intensity, scalpels flashing, bandages unfurling, oil lamps casting flickering shadows. Outside, the relentless artillery fire continued its barrage, but Sarah's hands remained steady. She had learned a crucial lesson. In this chaotic environment, calmness could be the difference between life and death. The soldier's name was Thomas. During a fleeting return to consciousness, he looked around, his voice barely a whisper. "Do you think I'll live?" Sarah's response was soft yet firm. "I won't promise what I can't be sure of, but I will do everything I can." Honest words, a source of strength far more valuable than empty reassurances. That afternoon, a flood of more wounded soldiers arrived. The battle showed no signs of relenting. Sarah lost all sense of time as she moved tirelessly from patient to patient, stitching, bandaging, offering what comfort she could. She paused only to take a quick sip of cold water before returning to her work. Some moments, she knew, would forever be etched into her memory. A Scottish soldier, his face and clothes covered in mud and smoke, clutched her hand. "If I don't make it, give this handkerchief to my wife." Sarah nodded, accepting the small, trembling token. Hours later, he was gone. She slipped the handkerchief into her pocket, a silent promise made and kept. By nightfall, the medical station continued to buzz with urgent activity. Sarah stepped outside, drawing a deep breath of the frigid air. For a fleeting instant, the world seemed to fall silent, until another explosion tore through the night. More wounded arrived, and Sarah rushed back inside. Among them, she recognized a familiar face. Thomas. He had been brought back, suffering from a severe infection. Her heart sank, but her voice betrayed no hint of fear. "As long as I'm here," she said, "you still have a chance." The war wasn't confined to the trenches. It was also being fought at the small wooden table, where she worked tirelessly. It was present in every shallow breath, every frantic decision, every tear she bravely swallowed rather than shed. Hours stretched into an eternity. Finally, Thomas seemed to have weathered the worst of it. Sarah exhaled in relief, but before she could even think of resting, the alarm sounded once again. She stood. One day ended, and another began. Nurses like Sarah didn't seek recognition or accolades. They simply stepped forward, again and again, through the suffocating smoke, the constant loss, and the countless stories too painful to speak aloud. Later that night, Sarah sat down to write another letter home. Her hands ached with exhaustion, but her eyes remained clear and steady. "Mother," she wrote, "I don't know how strong I truly am, but here there are people who need me." She folded the letter carefully and placed it beside the flickering oil lamp. Outside, the darkness trembled once more with the distant thunder of artillery, a constant reminder that tomorrow would bring no respite. If you appreciate true historical storytelling, your support through likes and subscriptions will enable me to continue sharing these poignant, real-life experiences from the Great War. But who could possibly foresee What fate awaited Sarah and all the nurses serving on the front lines tomorrow? What dramatic events will unfold next on this relentless battlefield?